I got all of this gear off of Temu for $116. Let's see if it's any good. So the most noticeable on this list is this scope from Temu. It's a 3:9 by 32, and as you can see, it looks a little unconventional here. It's got pick rails machined into this main tube here. You've got your clicks here on each side, which are actually very audible and feel decent for the price here. 3:9, so your zoom ring is right here. That actually doesn't feel horrible as well. And then we have our illuminated reticle right here, which is a green and red reticle. And just the scope here came to $76.36. But as you can see here, it's got a lot of stuff on there. We have this red dot that it came with. So the photo on Temu shows everything assembled, but when it showed up to my house, everything was actually in separate boxes. So we've got this red dot here, this light, and this laser here that will all mount to these pick rails here. So we'll have to do that. First impressions with everything is it all feels insanely cheap, as you could imagine. This feels super cheap. I mean, I'm not betting that this would hold zero too well at all, but we're gonna mount it up, see how it shoots, and then we'll also mount this red dot here, which like already, I mean, so much of the paint is wearing off on this, and it feels pretty chintzy, but it's got a red and green setting on here, and then it also has four different like crosshairs or reticles up here that you can switch between, which is kind of cool. So we'll mess around with that. We'll see if this is any accurate. And then next up is this flashlight, which probably feels like one of the crappiest flashlights I've ever held. This thing, it weighs pretty much nothing. The mount here feels pretty cheap, this bolt right here. So very curious to see how this will be. And then last for the scope setup is this laser, which, you know, kind of following suit with everything else, is not exactly the highest quality, but we're gonna see if it will perform and if it'll be visible. It's very cloudy today, so if it works, then this should be some good conditions to see it on target here. So that's the whole scope package. It's all of these things right here, these three that are going to mount to this scope. So very unconventional. Normally, you know, you'd have this mounted up on the gun, and you know, maybe the laser on the gun as well. Some red dots will mount to a scope, but usually they are not this big. It'd be a smaller, like, pistol red dot that would mount. So that's everything there. Next up, we have our iron sights here, which were $12.74. And if you saw our Amazon video where we tested all of this same gear, but we bought it from Amazon, we got some red dots there too, but they were 100% plastic. And these are actually metal. Assuming aluminum, they're pretty light. And I would say these look like 10 times better than those Amazon ones. And they have fiber optic here as well. So they don't look horrible, really. I mean, they feel pretty cheap, but I think these will perform decently well, actually. So I'm excited to test these out. And then we have a laser bore sighter here. So it's 223 because we're throwing it in an AR. And as you can see here, it does produce a laser. Which the scope from the Amazon video came with a laser, and after putting batteries in it, several different batteries, it never even worked. So the fact that this is working already, we're off to a pretty good start. Next up is we have this cheek pad here, which will go around the buttstock with these Velcro straps. It looks like it's got a pretty substantial cushion there. This came in at $7.97. Comes in a few different colors, but we got black since the gun is black. Man, I don't know about this. This feels pretty flimsy, so we'll see how this does. And then very last on the list is a shell catcher here that has a Velcro strap that goes around the hand guard, and that was $4.04, 87% off. So it used to be $32.99, but now, because of China, it is available for $4, which is pretty crazy. I mean, there's not much material here, so it makes sense. If you paid 32 bucks, I would say you overpaid for that. So this is all of the gear that we have, and we are gonna throw it on this AR right here. And we've got targets right here at 15 yards, at 75 yards, and then a steel target way out at 300 yards, and we're gonna see how this stuff performs. So I also forgot about this bipod here, coming in at $9.40, 37% off. And this doesn't feel too bad. I mean, for the price, under $10. It's a fully aluminum bipod here that mounts to a pick rail. But let's see how this works. That's all the extension you have. I mean, a 1/2 inch maybe. That's it, which is, it says, oh yeah, 5.8 to 6.4 inches of adjustability. At that point, I don't even know why that adjustability is there. Kind of funny. But we have a shooting bench here, so we will be able to utilize this and to see how tough it is and if it's able to, you know, support the gun well enough to hit that target out at 300 yards. So let's get all this stuff mounted up and see what it looks like. So if you have $116 and you want to make your AR look as ugly as possible, I would suggest getting all of these things. Just in the mounting process, it's very apparent that these things are ridiculously cheap. This bipod right here is as tight as I can get it. And I mean, it's barely on there. I think if I hit it hard on the ground once, then it would fall right off. This thing is barely held on there. It's just a little Velcro strap. This cheek rest here, admittedly, I don't know if it's for an adjustable buttstock or not, but it's kind of hodgepodge together to get it to fit right. And, you know, looking at it right away, it's in line with the scope right here. The scope sits incredibly low, so I think we're gonna have to take this off to even shoot it. Granted, it could work for the red dot here. I would say the winner of this so far is honestly these iron sights right here. They bite the hardest to the pick rail, certainly the easiest to mount, and they feel relatively strong, as to where like the flashlight mount here is very, very weak, and this laser mount is pretty weak as well. And then the scope base, you can't really see it because everything is blocking it, but these bolts right here, they don't actually pass through the slots on the pick rail of this receiver here. So, you know, one hard hit from the bottom or the top would definitely slide this forward or backward, which of course you would not want. So that's the setup. 116 bucks for all of the accessories on this gun. Man, it sure looks interesting, but we're gonna load up a mag and try to sight this in. We'll use this laser bore sighter here to maybe assist us in that, and then we can dial in this laser as well as the scope and the red dot here. So let's get to shooting. Okay, so first up, we're putting this bore sighter into the gun there, and we're gonna see if we can get this onto the target here, get our whole 1/2 inch of bipod adjustment. And actually, I think with a little bit of luck, the laser and the sights are actually pretty darn close. It looks like the laser might be like a ½ inch, or the sights, the crosshairs might be a ½ inch to the left of the laser. So that looks good. Now let's see about this red dot here. Let's see, we got red and green. I'm actually gonna shoot the green here because we have the red circle in it, in the target. So that actually lines up pretty darn close too. The laser is not extremely visible, but definitely visible enough. I'm assuming we'll probably be able to see it on that camera as well. So it looks like it's lining up pretty close. And then now we got this laser as well. It is on, as you can see there on my hand. Let's see where that lines up. So that right now is about 4 inches to the right and 4 inches low. So let's see about that. Going up. Okay, and now this one for my left and right. Let's see, where's it at?
There you go. You're
right there. And go up again. Okay, that's pretty close. So now we have the sight, all according to this laser right here. We've got them all to where they should hit close to that red. You know, we're only, gosh, 15, 20 yards away. So we're gonna load up a mag here. Throw our shell catcher on. Throw some earmuffs on and shoot these rounds downrange. Man, I gotta absolutely bury my face to get it low enough to look through the scope, which is not ideal at all. Okay, so it hit about, I'd say, an inch or two low and an inch to the left, so not too bad. Let's shoot another one. All right, literally right next to that other one. So let's make some adjustments real quick. So it needs to go up, and it needs to go to the right. Probably more than that, but let's see. This looks like I went a little bit too much to the right, and then it still needs to go up.
Your lasers are way off.
A little bit. So the laser, so that would be this laser.
Yeah.
So I'll have to adjust that. Yeah, it's straight high. Let's shoot one more. All right, that's right in the red. So 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, and we've got it. Got the scope pretty well dialed in. So now I will be able to move this laser. So it's actually hitting where I need it to.
I can drop it too.
Okay, so I am right in the, okay, go ahead. Other way. More. One more. Right there. Okay, so now the laser's sighted in, so let's tighten that up so it's not moving around. Let's shoot one kind of from the hip here. See if this laser works. All right, so laser from the hip. I'm gonna aim at this bottom barcode actually, right there. Let's see. Okay, it hit, it's a logo. Hit the logo, which is kind of cool. So basically, you can be like somebody in the movies now and just use your laser here. Don't even have to look down the scope, and it hit. Unfortunately, the laser past 15 yards here is basically worthless, but kind of cool right there. So now let's see if this red dot will hit. Looks like it hit about 2 inches low. So move it up with this Allen wrench. Couple clicks. So I think my laser's moving a little bit. So I tried adjusting this to the laser. Let's see. It feels pretty sturdy still, but anyways, close enough. We've got a steel target out here at 75 now, so let's see if we can hit it with the scope and the red dot. I mean, if it's hitting right there.
Where are you aiming?
I mean, that one I was aiming at the bottom dark spot.
Gotcha. Looked like it was hitting high.
Which makes sense because the bullet's going up.
Yep. So aim it. Aim at the post.
All right, so not too bad at 75 yards. Certainly the worst part is having to get my eye so low and to bury my face into this cheek pad here, just to be able to look through the scope. And then the other thing that is not ideal is the zoom ring here with this red dot coming up over top of it. It's not easy to get to because of this, red dot being right in the way. And there's no texture on this at all either. So super slippery. It's very humid today, so it's not easy to get a grip on there. But I'd say the last test is 300 yards out here. And also the shell catcher is working just fine. It's not really, they're all shooting right into there. So it seems to be doing the job so far. But, oh, we got these iron sights here too. So might as well shoot these at close range real quick. Let's see here. The laser is pretty much takes up your whole field of view, but I can see down the sights, so let's see how that works real quick. See if I can hit that steel. Okay, hit a couple, and one shell did manage to fall out of this shell catcher here. Well, I mean, it's doing pretty good. That's basically the full mag that we had. Okay, so now last test here is 300 yards with this Temu scope. We're gonna load up 5 shells and see how many hits we can get. 5 rounds, 300 yards with a Temu scope. Let's see how, I might have to move this a little bit. I wish this bipod had a little bit more adjustability. It's definitely not a great setup here, but let's see how she does.
Hit it.
Hit. Hit.
Nice. Hit. Hit.
Okay, so 4 out of 5. Really is not that bad. We've got 9 power here, so I was able to zoom in a decent ways. It's certainly not the clearest image that far away, and these crosshairs are super blocky. They're very thick, so you're not really aiming too precise, but it did the job, 80%. So hey, back in high school, that was plenty. 80%.
Yeah.
Didn't need much more than that.
No. Couldn't ask for any more.
Heck no. So overall, what I would say is I think this would be a cool little setup for airsoft. On a 223, especially if you require any sort of reliability at all, then I definitely don't think it's the best option. And it's just super clunky and looks pretty weird. It's kind of fun to shoot, and it's cool that you can get all this stuff for under 120 bucks. But when it comes down to it, depending on what your needs are out of your gun, it's probably not gonna be the most reliable, and it's super bulky and heavy, but it's has a little bit of a cool factor too. It certainly looks unique and stuff like that, and if you're on a budget, then maybe it's what you're looking for. So Temu, it's crazy what you can get for such a incredibly cheap price nowadays. The shell catcher here did its job as well, and let's say you're either into reloading or you're just shooting somewhere where you don't want to have to pick up all your spent brass on the ground, then it really did just fine, especially for $4. I'd say the winner of all of this, again, is these iron sights here. They're fairly robust. I mean, they still have some wiggle and some slop there. So for accurate shooting, not something you'd want. But again, for the price, they're not that bad. And then you've got this bipod here, which has became even more loose, even though this screw right here, or this bolt, is very tight, but there is a lot of wiggle room right here, and just hardly any adjustability. So doesn't really make the greatest bipod. This light here we haven't really talked about, but I mean, not that bright. Yes, it's daylight right now, but compared to other weapon lights out here, it's not even comparable. So all in all, everything works. It just doesn't work super well. And I prefer my stuff to be a little bit more reliable, a little bit more sleek, and honestly just stuff that looks a little bit cooler than this. So again, under 120 bucks, all this stuff straight from China. It's fun to mess around with, but not something that I would keep on my personal gun.